when a plan comes together. I love when I'm able to catch 5 o'clock on the dot. Um, Especially knowing how life be lifing, being able to catch 5 o'clock on the dot, pull up over here for y'all. It's one of my favorite things. No, no cap. With that said, salute world. The time is 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'd like to welcome you to the garage, which is now officially open for business. Home to the worldwide mechanics, to the mechanics worldwide. I'm your lead mechanic, Mr. Mac. In the meantime, in between time, get on in here, get your tool belt, get your coveralls. Let's get this thing on the rack and see where we at. Do me a favor, hit the likes, hit the subs. That's how you show your boy love. Hit the likes and hit the share so people see how we do it around here. And check the topic because it's where we're going today. I have seen a lot of talk as far as Jay going to GQ, Jay not giving Bleak the interview, who, his homie who's got a podcast, you're not giving him the interview. And then I see Joe Budden going off on Kendrick, saying he doesn't do black interviews, which I think is where, I think that's the crux of the argument. Now, before I get into anything, before I start talking about any of this stuff, let me be the first one to say I jumped out the window early on, immediately following the battle, when Kendrick did his first interview following Not Like Us. It wasn't Vanity Fair. It was, I can't remember the name of the outlet. I should know this before I start talking. What was it called? He had a sister interview him, and this was of course years ago. Not Vanity Fair. What's the name of this place? Harper's Bazaar. Thank you. I really should have had that memorized. Harper's Bazaar. Um, the real gunner. Why can't artists mix it with cultural and white? Okay, let me. This brings us. Shout out to Charlie Funk, original mechanic in the building. One love, King. Thank you for pulling up. Let's get into this. Let's get into this talk. First of all, I'm no one to get it, Joe. I'm no one to get it, Screw. I'm no one to get it, any other reactor. For bringing this up, Chase Move, no one. Because like I said, I was one of the first people. It's the immediately following Kendrick's interview. It was his first interview after the battle, his first print interview. He did it with Harper's Bazaar, October 21st, 2024. I was sitting on the set of My Expert Opinion, and I told everybody how I felt about it. I thought it was corny. But I always think it's corny. I always think it's corny when our artists, the people who we make famous, who we blow up, make it a point to avoid our genre, our outlets, our, where we gather to see information. I've always thought that was corny. And Jay was one of the first people to start it. So him going to, GQ doesn't surprise me when they start treating hip hop outlets like we're the Chitlin circuit and we need to be avoided at all costs. And, you get a different publicist in your ear and they start telling you that now you're too big for that specific outlet. That's always bothered me. So when I see Kendrick fresh off of one of the biggest hip hop moments in the last couple years, in the last few years, arguably like the last 10 years, the first interview he does is with not only a non hip hop outlet, it's Harper's Bazaar, but like SZA collaborated on the interview, which means we're not going to get the same kind of questions we would get if somebody like me were asking, if somebody like Joe Budden were asking, if somebody like Alvin Blanco, Jerry Barrow, Daquan Thomas, like if we're asking these questions, it's gonna hit different. We're asking a different kind of question, which leads me back into why it's not a big deal that Bleak didn't get the interview, because out of his own mouth, and I could have told you this had you listened. Oh, thank you for hitting the likes. Thank you for the likes. Hit the likes, hit the subs. That's how you show your boy love. Out of Bleak's own mouth, he's telling you he's not going to ask journalism style questions. He's not going to approach an interview with his good friend, childhood friend, whether or not Hove was a child. Bleak definitely is the younger brother, and this is a guy who's known him his whole life. He's not going to ask Jay the kinds of questions that people are going to want to know. They don't have that kind of relationship. And Bleak lacks the ability to be objective. This is someone he's known basically his whole life. If you've known them longer than you've not known them, that's your whole life. Bleak's never going to ask him the kinds of questions that I'm going to ask Alvin Blanco, et cetera, et cetera. He's never going to push back the way that I would, the way that Daquan Thomas would, the way that Kathy Iandoli would. Like that, these are not things that he's gonna do. Shout out to homie who did the GQ interview. The reason why people are having such a problem with it, one of the reoccurring themes I'm seeing is because, Jay-Z just basically interviewed himself and he just did all the talking and there was no pushback. And I have to keep reminding everyone, GQ is not a hip hop outlet. Even if it's a hip hop head who's doing the interview, he has a very specific agenda. It's not something he can actually, this isn't hip hop. This is a different thing. This is GQ. They're not hip hop. They're not known for talking about beats to the rhyme or production or who did what. That's not what you're gonna get. So Homeboy is doing the interview, and shout out to him again. I'm not. Let me get his name just so I can stop saying him. Frazier. Shout out to Frazier Thorpe. He's doing an interview in an outlet that is mostly known for the photos and fashion photos. This has nothing to do with hip hop. This is not a cultural thing. That's the backlash. That's the source of the backlash. I'm seeing the narrative get a little slurred out there. So just let me get in here and do a little bit of course correcting. It has nothing to do with black or white. It has everything to do with hip hop and non-hip hop. Kendrick's, I was upset because not upset, but I was irritated because 2024, your first interview after this momentous hip hop event, you go to a non-hip hop outlet and give them that. That irritates me, especially knowing that Jay and Kendrick both are in position to anoint a new another hip hop journalist. You can literally put somebody's career on the map by sitting with them. Jay and Kendrick both are big enough to do that, and not just who you sit with, as in the person doing the interview, but who you sit with as far as the outlet that you allow to carry it. It's a different thing. It lands different. And if you're ahead, like the mechanics in here definitely are. No, I'm not talking to y'all, but this is for whoever goes and watches this after. It's not the same thing. It's not going to land the same way. For instance, and we've discussed this before, but let Jay sit in front of me and say that the fourth element of hip hop is the battle. I'm going to challenge him on that. He might not even get a chance to finish what comes after that, because I'm going to, no, it's not. It's not the battle. Why would you say that? Do you really believe that? Because that's not the fourth pillar. That's not the fourth element. That's not it at all. But that goes against the narrative. And there's a narrative happening here. Like Jay is talking about, and there. I'm sure Frazier had the questions that he got some great questions answered. No cap. However, no pushback, no challenge, no. What about this? Like there's none of that. I just saw it mentioned. Shout out to the mechanics in here. Cole is sitting down and taking all contenders. He's getting all whatever's messy. Whether you like his whether you like his answers or not has nothing to do with the fact that he's leaving himself open for the question. I respect that because I can tell you from firsthand knowledge there are tons of artists who avoid the tough questions, and Kendrick and Jay are falling into that category. And we're talking about people who don't interview all the time. So when they come out and they're in a Harper's Bazaar or a GQ, but this isn't new. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. Rap mags try to use my black ass, so advertising giving more cash for ads. When that dropped, 99 Problems, when that dropped, I wanted to go right to Jay and go, bro, all magazines are getting more cash for ads. Like where all magazines use their subjects to sell ads. That's how it goes. Why is the rap mag the villain in this story when that's literally how the business works? I'll tell y'all something on the sly. If you're reading a magazine, next time you read the magazine, it probably still goes this way. Every ad pays for 2 pages. The number of ads are equal to the number of editorial, whatever they're selling, music, fashion. They're equal. It doesn't look equal because sometimes the ads will be back to back, but when they're doing like a feature and a spread, those are like 3 or 4 pages in a row. So each one of those pages was paid for by one of those ads. What you do is you charge the person who's selling you the ad, who wants to buy ad space, you charge them for 2 pages. They get one for them and then they get one for you. That's why when the ads go down, the mag gets thinner and thinner. You charge them for 2 pages. A lot of people don't know that, but there it is. Rap mags, fashion mags, any kind of music ad, home and garden, they're all it's all the same. That's how it goes. And Jay started off lightweight vilifying magazines back then. So no, I'm not super shocked that he's on this wave now and he decided to drop in on a GQ. And I'm not even mad because GQ is a major look. My only issue is, Jay, you are Jay-Z. You can go to GQ. As a mechanic pointed out in here earlier, it's nothing for you to go to GQ and then turn around and say, I'm also gonna go do all hip hop. I'm also gonna do double X, a hip hop outlet, someplace where hip hop heads go to look at our stars, the people who we create and we make famous and we put on the map. That's us. But a lot of publicists in this business tend to treat hip hop outlets like the Chitlin circuit. And you feel like you're too good for that. You're too good for us. You've outgrown the very people who have put you in this zone. I did not mean for that to rhyme. And that's corny. I think that's corny. I'm never gonna stop saying that's corny. As much as a supporter of Jay-Z, as much as I'm a supporter of Kendrick, as much as I love their music, this specific thing that they do is corny. I find this super corny. I don't think it deserves a pass. I think two things can be true at the same time. I can really enjoy an artist's music. I can really enjoy the bars and their stance and their public persona, and be just as equally irritated when they do some, nonsense like this. Especially since we got two people who are cultural advocates or claim to be. What you're doing is anti-culture. You're not anywhere near hip hop. You're at Harper's Bazaar. Now, Kendrick will pull up on hip hop outlets. Like don't get it twisted. Regardless of the house that it's under, Kendrick will pull up on the Deska, Ebro. He'll pull up on Big Boy. Like those are hip hop spots. I brought Kendrick into it because number one, I've interviewed him, and number two, it was the big interview, which was if you're in publishing, if you're in any kind of media, we all knew that first interview he does after this battle, crazy. He could give that to anyone. Anyone. Biggest rapper of the year, you can get right after the battle which you won, you can hand that interview to anyone. And they'll all just, he could have probably arranged to get every journalist from every top hip hop spot in one room and just talk to them all at the same time and been done. And or you can do what Jay did. Jay put Elliott Wilson on the map in a lot of people's eyes, right? People who knew who he was, of course, I'm not saying it like that, but Elliott became Jay's go-to journalist. Same with Angie Martinez and Jay. Like whenever Jay would do radio, he would pull up on Angie Martinez, and everybody knew Angie had the source. Elliott had the source. You can do that with I've had this exact same debate with Crooked Eye during the show, bro. When you're this big of an artist, you can literally pick and choose, and you can point your finger and say, "This is gonna be the guy, this is gonna be the girl, this is gonna be the woman." And whatever I do moving forward, they're gonna get it. They're gonna get the first joint. Super easy. Um, oh Jesus. Just so I can handle this. Let me get the name real quick. Just I know you are screaming at me right now to ignore this, and I know I should. I get it. I definitely should, but I'm not going to because it slightly irritates me when folks pull up and ask me to do research. Meanwhile, you know half the topic. So let me just get the name real quick. Um, your name is Shy Knows One. You say to me, he gave the interview to a black woman who'd been asking him to do the interview for 2 years. Man, you missed everything. I literally said hip hop outlets, not black people. That's the whole topic of this thing. You read the subject line, came in here and said absolute idiocy. And then gonna tell me to do some research as if you've been paying attention. You want to talk so bad. You want to talk so bad. You just came in here running a yap. It has nothing to do with who's doing the interview. If that was the question, if that was the point, I wouldn't be talking about Frazier. Frazier's black as hell. Everybody's, ooh, man, y'all dumb. Just can't wait to talk. Jesus Christ. Ooh, Lord, man. Sheesh. Hit the likes, hit the subs. That's how you show your boy love. Come on, Mac, do a little research. Bro, take your own advice before you come in here talking to me. Take your own advice before you come in here talking to me. You sound crazy. You sound crazy. I ain't say nothing about black women. I know that's why it's trending. That's why I'm discussing it. But I also said I needed to correct the narrative. Maybe if you paid attention. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, but this was a dumb thing to do. I didn't. You may not be dumb as a person, but that was definitely a dumb thing to do. Walk into a room with no research, no information. Assume you know what the subject is. Assume you know what my stance is on it. You see how many assumings you're doing? Yeah, kick rocks. Kick rocks. Oh, now that this has happened, you're out. Yeah, boy. Yeah, go ahead. Be out. Be out. Be out. Um. Anyway, like we were saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by ignorance. I'm not even hating on you, bro, but come on, man. You gotta come on, man. Do a little research. Like you gotta try better with these gotcha moments. Or how about don't come in here with looking for a gotcha moment and actually listen to what I'm saying before you decide that I didn't do the research. You're not paying attention. And just as easily as Homeboy messed that up, as Shy Knows One messed that up, that's what I'm trying to correct in general across the board. That's what I'm trying to get right across the board. It's not about black or white outlets. It's about hip hop and non-hip hop outlets. And what I'm seeing is some of our biggest, at their biggest, choose to sit down with non-hip hop outlets and treat hip hop outlets like the Chitlin Circuit. And I've always found that disrespectful. It's not a new thing. It's not a new thing. I've never interviewed Jay. I've interviewed Nas. I've interviewed Eminem. I've interviewed Busta Rhymes. But I've never gotten Jay. I've had a conversation with him, but I've never interviewed Jay. But I have interviewed Kendrick. And I remember when he wanted that attention from these hip hop outlets. These are the places he wanted to go. And now you give, the first big look after the battle to Harper's Bazaar. I find that bizarre. You're never gonna get me to co-sign that. As much as I like the music, as much as I dig the artist, you're never, as a journalist, as someone who legit made a living, still makes a living to this day from his pen in hip hop spaces. It's never gonna be okay with me when the people who we put on the map treat us like we're the Chitlin Circuit. I treat hip hop like we're beneath them and they're too good for us. And now they're over at Harper's Bazaar and GQ. And as we can see, it's not satisfying. You're never gonna please everybody, first of all, but I just don't see the point in treating the people who put you on the map like that. That's all. That's all. But it's really not a black and white thing. It's really not a black and white thing. It's a hip hop and non-hip hop thing. Right? I got mechanics from all over the globe in here. I've gotten shout outs from the UK. I've seen North Korea. I've seen Korea in here. I've seen Poland in here, Spain. Like we get them from all over. It has nothing. I'm not interested in color more than I am culture. This is about hip hop and people who are really to the soil of it. When we start talking this kind of talk, don't get me wrong, race has its place and I get that, but we in here talking about the culture of hip hop. And no one in life has ever picked up GQ and said, let me go get my hip hop read on and grab a copy of Harper's Bazaar. Never happened in life. I thought Harper's Bazaar was an odd choice too, bro. Shout out to Russia. Can't forget Russia. Got mechanics in Russia. Got mechanics in Africa. All over Africa, apparently. That's all I'm saying. That's all I came in here to say. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it because I'm going to start doing this thing where I read off the comment section from the previous video. I'm going to start getting that popping. For instance, last video I did, we had a very nice comment. There's only 2 comments in the building. Only 2 comments. Y'all didn't feel too much like talking on that last one, but I want to read these comments because one of our dope mechanics, Calvin Campbell, who represents from the UK, gave us another one. This dude is for they are mostly fashion mags. B74. I'm not sure what's up. Everybody wants to be cute. Don't ask me. And no, I'm not gonna talk about the Pooh Shiesty thing. That dude is what I'm not doing that. But let me get to Calvin Campbell, and this is in a Beast Reaction and J. Cole Culture comment. This is Calvin Campbell said, "We have gatekeepers for a reason, and not just to keep this thing of ours private, but to keep standard. Sorry about that. I got a phone call. We have gatekeepers for a reason, not just to keep this thing of ours private, but to keep standards in terms of quality. So not just anyone can jump with garbage and align it with this thing of ours, but also to keep us honest. And you, sir, are a gatekeeper. Mecca, and very well qualified, one of the with real credentials that cannot be argued against. So making sure that those within this thing of ours are also doing and saying ish they shouldn't, and that hurts us all if left unchecked. First of all, I have always taken that gatekeeper thing super serious. When people started asking me what I thought, super serious. And then so shout out to Calvin Campbell from the UK. One love to you, bro. One of the original mechanics. Salute and thank you for this, because I want people to. Charlie Funk, you feel me? Shout out to Charlie Funk, another original mechanic. You feel me? Like Calvin be in here preaching in these comments, bro, and he's not just because he's bigging me up, although I'm honored to get the respect, but like Calvin be talking. And then right after him, Hip Hop 73 said, "All I can say is F Kanye. I will never listen to anything he has anything to do with." Wow. Wow. So, yes, at the end of all of these, I'm going to jump in the comment section and read some of these joints off. So, let's keep this party going. And I want to jump down and have the conversation with everybody. Hit the likes, hit the shares. Got like a handful of likes and a bunch of other people in here. Hit them likes for me. Hit the subs. That's how you show your boy love. The time is now 5:27. I'm gonna let y'all get on with the rest of your day. I want to thank y'all for pulling up in here and having this conversation with me. Take the coveralls off, take the tool belt off. Let's get this car off the rack and see where we at. And God willing. Oh yeah. If I'm not on tomorrow, I'm probably gonna jump on live tomorrow. But tomorrow's my birthday, April 3rd. Tomorrow's my birthday. So if I'm not on, it's because I'm spazzing for my birthday. But when I get to one of the things that I'm going to get to for my birthday, I'm probably going to go live just to share the moment with y'all too. Like, it's not going to be super crazy. Shout out to B74. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to all the mechanics in here. Charlie Funk, Calvin. Thank you guys. Thank you. Much appreciated. I'm probably going to pop up tomorrow because I really... Whoa, I got a birthday twin. Tomorrow's your birthday. Oh, salute. Okay, and you just popped up on a random channel and we birthday twins. That means you have to subscribe now. Now you have to subscribe. I'm your birthday twin. We both Aries. You can't front on me, bro. You have to absolutely subscribe to the channel now. Like, I need to see that you subscribe when this is all said and done. If we birthday twins, you got to pull up. You got to pull up. Let's get it popping. In the meantime, in between time, the garage is now officially shut down for the evening. Lord willing, God willing, I will see you guys tomorrow here at 5 o'clock. Thank you so much for the early birthday wishes. But set your alarm so you know when I'm pulling up. Like, get there, go and hit the little bell so you get the notification when I'm going live. I want y'all to be in the building. Let's keep this thing going. Cool? God bless everybody. Have the best one you can. The garage is now officially closed for the evening and the mechanics are retired for the night. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.